The Ken and Barbie Killers, one of Canada's most notorious serial killing couple. Hello everyone, welcome to Dead Clues YouTube channel where we talk about true crimes. Let's get into this case. Let's begin with Paul, who was born in Scarborough in 1964. His family was said to be very wealthy but very dysfunctional. His father was known for being very inappropriate with young girls, including his own daughter. He was charged with that. Despite all of this, Paul was known to be a very polite and friendly boy. He was really bright and did really well in the school. That's until Paul was 60 years old and he got a huge argument with his mother. In this argument, she revealed that she had an affair and that his father wasn't actually his father. Paul already kind of hated his father for everything he had done, but now he resented his mother as well. It was said that Paul was never be the same after this. He would later go on the University of Toronto, Canada, where he would have several girlfriends, but he also had quite a few in high school. The high school girlfriends would say that he was a super thoughtful and caring, but once in university said that he was really abusive and he loved publicly humiliated them. In 1987, he would commit his first essay. The girl was only 21 and he got away with it and committed 3 more. But then he temporarily stopped when he met the woman of his dream. Her name was Karla. She was born in 1970. Nothing really stand out in her childhood as abnormal. It was said that she was really girly as a kid, but then in high school she went through kind of like a dressing really dark and obsessed with that kind of face. She was said to have dark fantasies as well. It was said that when they met, there was an immediate connection. She took Paul back to her hotel room that night and they realized they had the exact same dark fantasies. They kind of made a path to play them out and he was extremely abusive toward Karla, but she encouraged it. It was said that being treated in that way was part of her fantasy. It was sort of like a slave fantasy. Paul then told Karla about all the essays he had committed, and instead of being like everyone else, like you are a psychopath, she actually encouraged him to do more. So he continues his little rampage around Scarborough, and one of the women he had attacked actually saw his face. So they created a composite sketch which looked a lot of like a Paul. People who know Paul would actually call the police and let them know about him. The police interviewed him and didn't think he was a suspicious, but they took his DNA in case. Paul and Karla decided to move to St. Catherine. They had moved in with Karla's parents. Karla had a 15-year-old sister who Paul grew to be obsessed with because her name was Tammy. Tammy was a virgin. Karla felt bad because that was the only one thing she couldn't give to Paul. So she decided to give him her sister. Karla worked at a vet clinic. She stole some tranquilizing stuff and they spiked her little sister's drink with it. They also had a different kind of tranquilizer on cloth that they kept on her mouth to keep her passed out. Once 2 were finished with, Tammy started waking up, but she could not stop vomiting and choking. So they called the police, and when the police showed up, they noticed that she had chemical burn all over her mouth. And Paul and Clara was like, oh my gosh, she is crazy, she just drank so much. Tammy would later die in hospital. And despite the burn on her mouth, it was decided as an accident. And this is where Paul and Karla's rampage began. Karla soon found their next victim, a girl she worked with. She invited her over and spiked her drink. They then did all the horrible things to her and filmed it. and the girl proceeded to wake up, and they acted like if she has fainted. She never knew what had actually happened to her. Apparently, this girl was Karla's wedding present to Paul. Yeah, they were married and they moved to a new home. They would then kidnap a 14-year-old girl called Leslie, and they filmed themselves torturing and assaulting her together. On some reason, they actually ended up killing her, but no one know who killed her. They hid her body in block of concrete, and the pattern continues. Like Paul's abuse toward Karla was got bad. She had 2 black eyes, and police interviewed. With his DNA they collected before, they were able to match him to multiple assaulted, which then led them to interview Karla. This is when she admitted everything. She acted as she also was a victim of abuse. He forces her to do all these. Police struck deal with her that if she testified against Paul, she would only get 20 years. They then found the tapes that made her involved very clear in this assault. But it was too late because they made a deal with her. She got out of prison after 12 years in 2005, and Paul is still in the jail. So this is the end of the horrifying story about Ken and Barbie Killers. So if you like to know about more cases like this, please subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.